We're back.
We are so back, John.
And we're not a hybrid anymore because now we're talking about. Just going to slam the table this whole recording. We're going to talk about what we've been up to hobby wise. After me going on like a 3-month hobby streak, it seems like painting up. I think
you took a little break.
3,000 points of Death Guard or something. I painted up now with this.
Dude,
point.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I took a little break. I haven't painted anything the last. Well, no, that's not true. I assembled 2 drills and I put base colors in 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was, well, no, 1 drill because 1 was already assembled and I was like dreading putting the second one together. And my buddy Josh was like, the last one went together fine. I'm like, oh, but man, I just remember being awful. And he was like, hey, did you remember you were really drunk when you were trying to assemble it? I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, about that.
Yeah, it was. Don't assemble 4-year-old drunk kids.
That's fair. Good advice. Solid advice for everyone.
It doesn't work out. So I assembled that second one. It went a lot easier the second time. Patience is the key when it comes to the drill.
Sure.
It goes together really easily.
Yeah,
it's really well designed.
It is. It's a good. It's a well designed kit.
I kind of wish that it was just one solid piece, a la the Squiggoth, as opposed to having like the interior you can model open and things like that.
Yeah,
because I'm never going to model. Like the first thing I did was glue those 2 doors together, and then slam it in there.
Titled my sex tape.
Yeah, I put those guys together. I got one of the the Blight Bombardiers, or what's that dude called again?
Biologist Putrefier.
Yeah, the Biologist Putrefier. I found one of them. I did kind of like a little just consolidation of all my remaining Death Guard stuff I don't have painted. So
how many things do you have? Is it not that many, or do you have quite a bit?
I have quite a bit. Well, I have 1 more Plague Drone to do. I have a Biologist Putrefier. I have another of the Bell dudes. Do
you have all your Blight Lords done?
A Tally Man. I need to finish up my Blight Lords.
There you go.
They're all like half done. And then... Yeah, I don't think.
Nice.
I have another. I'm missing a Blight Hauler, so I have 5 right now.
Oh, that's weird.
So I ordered another Blight Hauler, so that's going to be here soon.
Nice, man. The price on those is really good, right?
Like 25 $20.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't have any options. So who cares? They're great.
Yeah, who cares?
And then especially because they're going to be really hard to come by when people start playing 40K regularly again.
I think so too.
So I picked one of those up. Oh, another thing I picked up from a hobby store online because it couldn't be found anywhere was a Lord Fest or a Felthus.
Nice. Yeah, good call. So that guy's going last chance, right?
So he's the last chance to buy right now. As soon as I found out, I was like, well, it's a Death Guard kit I don't have. He's a Lord of Contagion. As much as I like the one I have, if I want to run 2, I want to run 2 different ones.
Well, and he has a different weapon option.
Yeah, he has that Mana Reaper, right? Mm-hmm. So I picked, everywhere was sold out of him, but I Googled a place. What place did I get it from, just in case people want to see? Because I sent our buddy Josh to the same online store to buy a foot squad of Custodes, because they had those too.
Oh, nice.
So I was just like, oh, okay, that is super good. It was, man, this is Baxter's Game Store.
Oh, okay, cool.
I have no idea where you are.
That is your name.
I have no idea what you're doing, but you sold me a box. So thank you very much for that.
You want to hear a weird fact?
Yeah.
Lord Felthius is on a different size base than the normal Lord Contagion.
Of course he is.
Yeah, he's on a 40 millimeter.
Still in a 40?
Yeah.
Well, I sort of like that, I got to say. That's pretty handy.
Yeah.
Can't give him a relic, though, right? Because he's a named character.
No, you can give him you can take him as a normal, so you can take him as he is.
Right. Because
he has no special rules. He's just a normal Lord of Contagion with a Man Reaper. Yeah. Unlike his squad of Terminators, which do have their own entry technically.
Oh.
So you can take the Tainted Cohort by themselves, and they're like a 3-man Blight Lord squad that you can take if you wanted to ever just take 3 Blight Lords.
You know, that's not bad for just kind of dropping down on an objective or something.
And
like
one
that.
of them doesn't have like a close combat weapon. He just has like a tentacle. Oh. So like you don't have to pay for a Blight Axe or whatever. So they're pretty cheap.
Yeah. That seems like a super nice little objective dropper. Something else I was like looking at today, and we'll go into this a little bit when we talk about the app, is I was looking at the Gallerpox Impacted again.
Man, those models are so cool. Having painted all of them, they're rad.
Yeah, I need to pick up a set. And then the thing is, like, they have so many cool little rules, like the glitch.
The glitchlings?
The glitch things are cool. There's the like the data infected, like the Poxwalker zombie guys.
Vox
shambled or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, they can like teleport. Right?
They can teleport.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
Especially like with this mission set right now, as it is, like taking a patrol of Gallerpox, where I can just very cheaply like throw shit onto objectives from nowhere,
and that won't break your Nurgle. Nope. Yeah, that's really cool actually. Neat.
So I'm thinking about picking up the because they came in the Rogue Trader set there. So I'm either going to scour eBay or try and find a set, or even just buy the Kill Team box for Rogue Trader.
I think they released them, I think, in a separate box now. I think they did.
Let's take a look. Worst case scenario, it's buy the Rogue Trader box and sell the Imperial stuff.
Yeah, sure. Or I'm sure you can find them on eBay or something.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think I'm going to start kind of running some of those. Like I think I've talked about for about a year and a half now that I would really like those units just rolled into the Death Guard book.
Even, yeah, that'd be fine.
But I don't think it's going to happen. But it's one can dream,
right?
I played 40K though. I did. I played
awesome,
I played 2 games.
Cool.
One against your White Scars.
True that.
And then one against our buddy Josh's Custode list. And then we found out actually like I was the last game he played as well. I played him in the start of 8th.
Oh, really?
And that was like the last time I played him. And
That's crazy. Too. It's been that long.
Yeah. He dropped out. He wasn't having fun with it. So he stopped. But yeah, I played his Custodes. I was trying out kind of a newer list. So I had a couple of drills. Like this one, I was a little nervous about because I started with 6 CP.
Ooh, that's not very many, John.
No, and that's I think a little bit to my detriment, especially with things like the mortal wound things, because I had to be really, really efficient with my CP.
Well, what did you spend so many CP on?
Well, funny you should ask that here. Let me pull up the list as I kind of cause a lot of background noise here. A lot of cool stuff. Like so, some of it I was super happy with. So. I spent a CP to give the Chaos Lord Disgustingly Resilient.
Sure. As you do.
I spent a CP to give an extra relic for the Demon's Toll on the Noxious Blightbringer.
Sure.
So it was the 5++ Invulnerable. I spent a CP to make my Plague Surgeon, reroll 1s and 2s for Mortarian's Frozen Suns. And then I spent a CP on the Contaminated Monstrosity on 2 Termite Assault Drills and a unit of Spawn.
Oh, sure. Okay, cool.
So like it was all pretty good. The Spawn, it was okay.
Okay.
Like I can see why they're like I think just running them into or having Custodes run into them, or there's not really any.
I think that's a bad like.
There's not any fantastic targets for me to send them into against a Custodes list. So I think it's kind of a little off there from kind of my view of it. And then I will say though that the Tarax, the Termite Assault Drills were disgustingly resilient.
Yeah.
So, like, I ended up losing the game at 69.50, I think was the total. Neither of us scored paint scores either, so that was just kind of things there. But I stopped it from being 73 because my Termite survived a charge from a Valdor.
Nice. Okay.
Because of the Disgustingly Resilient.
Yeah, I bet.
And I spent my last command point to re-roll one of those Disgustingly Resilients.
And made it?
And I made it with 1 wound left.
Nice.
So then he turned around and just whiffed his hits because Valdor made all his Vinvulns against the drill. So I'm like, cool. Story of that game, by the way, is me wounding things and then Invulns coming in and saving the day. Like it made me like, I was like, man, just Death Hex. Just let me have Death Hex. But then like afterwards, Josh was like, why didn't you use the mortal wound stuff that you have access to? And I'm like, what mortal wound stuff that I have access to?
Like the things that we've been talking about.
So like the things that we've been talking about for like literally months. But it was good. It got me some reps in. I think like moving forward, I've adjusted kind of the list. I've dropped. I had 2 Foul Blight spawns in there, 1 in each drill, just to kind of give that aura fight last.
Sure.
I dropped that down to just 1 Foul Blight spawn because what I noticed was my drills were going to the same place anyway. Like I wasn't really splitting them up.
Cool.
Because I still only had 1 Noxious Blightbringer, so it doesn't matter. I won them within 5 or 7 inches of that bell.
Right.
To together invuln. And then I took out I had a unit of 20 Poxwalkers. I took that down to 11.
Okay.
And then I just did another Plague Marine squad. So now, like the new list I'm looking at here has like a Chaos Lord, Plague Caster, 3 units of 7 Plague Marines.
Nice, very fluffy.
Very fluffy. 4 Bolters. Sorry, no, they're 8. It's my bad. 4 Bolters, a Champion with a Power Fist and a Plasma Gun in each
I just
of those.
stopped listening when you said
that's fair. People stopped listening like an hour ago before we even started recording. But yeah, 4 Bolt Guns, 1 Champion with the Power Fist and Plasma Gun.
Okay.
2 Flails and a Blight Launcher in each squad.
Oh, yeah, nice. Okay.
So 3 of those squads.
Those sound like good all-arounders.
So 11 Poxwalker. The Power Fist actually did work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like people don't expect it. I've never really upgraded sergeants before, but it was great.
And it's a decent number of attacks, too.
Oh, it is. It really is. 11 Poxwalkers, because those guys were born to action. They just want to
really are.
They want to investigate sites while being cloud flies
They just want to
all
like
day.
slime up the objectives.
I just imagine them like just in there hitting buttons on the radio tower.
Because those guys are just people that never cover their mouth when they cough. Like, that's basically what they are. They don't wear face masks.
Like Karen Walkers. Dropped it down to 1 Foul Blight Spawn, Noxious Blightbringer, and the Plague Surgeon. So with all the regular CP shenanigans from those guys. 3 more Mythic Blight Haulers, which those guys.
Yeah, Mephitic are really good.
So 3 Mephitic Blight Haulers held up a Telemon Dreadnought with 2 close combat fists.
Wow.
For 3 game turns.
Wow. So like
Before
6 rounds
dying.
of combat?
Before
That's
dying.
amazing, dude.
Right? And I was like, it's not like he could leave.
Right.
And so it was really, essentially all I did was like, what is my greatest threat? And I just shoved them that way. And then they just tied it up.
Cool.
It was super, super cool. And then 2 Plague Burst Crawlers with Plague Spitters. Those guys are great. The extra 6-inch clutch. And so many times, like I pulled that one off. And then I added a Rhino to the 2 Terex. So I have 2 Terex, 1 Rhino.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, I mean, I feel pretty good about it. Like I said, the game really made me realize I need to, and I think we'll probably start a series on this, so I have to look at it, is like kind of really looking at the secondary objectives and choosing well. I really thought I was going to get Slay the Warlord or whatever it's called, Cut Off the Head.
Oh, sure.
Early now, because the way Custodes plays as an army, you have to be like hyper aggressive because his Warlord was a bike captain. So I'm like, okay, he will absolutely have to move up and move into combat and I'll be able to get at him. Not realizing that if I whiff all of my Chaos Lord's attacks, then he's not going to die. And then if he saves every single Plague Burst Mortar, he's not going to die.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to do a better job of looking at secondaries. Like this time I did a better job of looking at primaries than in our game. Which is something we'll get into just now, but it was a fun game. Like I said, I learned a lot.
That's awesome.
And I think I said to you, like I still liked the list. It wasn't list error; it was entirely user error for a lot of the stuff that went wrong there.
And I think that's a fair, like, obviously, I think that's pretty healthy, like a pretty healthy attitude. Like, all right, these are the things I screwed up on, and you can.
So you want the number one thing I screwed up on? So there was multiple combats because I was charged, but that doesn't matter because the Flamer guy, I can't remember names today.
Foul Blightspawn.
Foul Blightspawn has that aura where you fight, you don't count as charging.
Yep.
So I get to choose what fights first.
Yep.
I didn't choose my Plague Marine squad.
Okay, cool.
So the Plague Marine squad was in with the Forge World Terminators. What were the Aquilons or something?
Aquilons, yeah.
Yeah. So I had a Plague Marine squad in combat with Aquilons and a Chaos Lord in combat with his Warlord.
Oh.
I chose to go with the Chaos Lord first.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just depends, right?
He whiffed all of his attacks.
That's disappointing.
So then my opponent Josh interrupted.
As opposed to when you played me and he didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So he interrupted with the 2 CP, wiped out that entire Plague Marine squad before they could do anything. And I'm like, well, cool. Then also what he used to really great effect as well was Custodes or what's their character called on the Valor or
Valdor?
Valdor, yeah.
Or not, well, it's...
he has like 80,000 names. We've been through this in Custodes episodes before. The character with the big old...
Trajan Valorous.
Trajan Valorous. He has that special rule where it just one stratagem a turn doesn't cost any CP.
One stratagem, it's per game.
Oh, good to know. Well, he used it once a turn.
Oh.
So he was essentially...
I don't think that... Maybe they fact it. I don't know.
Maybe, well, man, we'll take a look. There's a Warhammer app we can look at.
I'm doing that currently.
But so he was refunding a lot of the stuff of ignore AP 1 and 2.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So when I'm going into him with like Plague Flails, it...
yeah, just and they getting 2-ups against that. That's
there's 2-ups. It's pretty tough. So it's a tough army. Like I said, I learned a lot. And it was a super fun game. It's always fun to play Josh, even if apparently I'm the only person he plays now. And even then, it's only once an edition. Hopefully more. And then after that, Danny, we played and you pulled out your super fluffy Space Marine list.
Yeah, we played White Scar. I played my White Scars.
Your White Scars.
So I tried to make it as kind of fluffy and good as I could. Really, I mean, it was
really good.
It's a cool list.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of cool synergies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like as Space Marines are wont to do, right? And that game was fun. Like, did I get first turn? I think I did that.
You did get first turn. Yeah,
that was pretty good because I was able because White Scars are so fast. I was able to move up pretty quickly onto objectives and things.
Right, and kind of block.
No, you got first turn.
No, I got first turn. Yeah,
I assaulted you on my turn.
Right, so I moved up to try and get as close as I could to the objectives. But kind of in hindsight, I really should have gone second. If I hadn't have moved, you didn't really have line of sight to very much.
No, I wouldn't have gotten. And my army didn't have a ton of good shooting either. And most of the shooting I had was in reserve.
Right.
So, because I had 2 units of Eradicators, and one of them was on the table, one of them was in reserve. So
those guys are really good.
God, those guys are good.
Those guys are really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I took first turn, kind of went forward here. This is kind of one of the games, like my second game against you, where like the same sort of thing happened where I didn't focus on primary. And that really cost me like hard.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, not a list issue. It's an entirely a user issue for that one there.
Sure.
What really helped you as well, though, is you made some super smart plays with a lot of your units. Again, and I think we're going to see this more and more through ninth, really controlling movement on the board.
Sure. Yeah, and I was able to block off some key movements with my impulsors, and which was super clutch. And then when I did get into combat, it was kind of on my terms, which was like I was able to buff all my guys and then get into combat, which was really powerful.
Yeah, the new bikers, the Primaris bikers, making like 22-inch moves, and then charging.
Right. Which was,
those poor Poxwalkers. Those guys threw out so many attacks.
Because like I can make all their guns assault, and then shoot you, and then charge you after moving 22 inches, like with one stratagem.
Yep.
And then I engaged the Forge Fiend, who had to shoot at them.
You did.
And they had the 3-up invulnerable save for moving fast.
For this game, I was pulling out, so I had mix. So I had like my Death Guard component.
Yep.
And then I also had like maybe a partial my LVO where it's like just demon engines.
Right.
So I had like 2 Mauler Fiends, 2 Forge Fiends. I'm like, fuck, I'll give it a try.
Sure.
Like Forge Fiends hitting on 4s moving now, just quality.
Yeah, it's good. And then if they have Lord Discordant by, they're hitting on 3s, which is great.
In combat, I mean, here I think we were talking afterwards, like I was so excited that they could shoot in combat, but so negative at them being negative modifiers for moving when it's exactly the same goddamn situation.
Like, you were so excited that you could, but you didn't ask yourself if they should.
Because no, it's like, no, I'm just going to charge them into combat and just shoot. And I'm like,
awesome.
Yeah, 8 dice hitting on 5s. Wait, no, this isn't good at all.
Yeah, and as soon as the Lord D's, as soon as the discos got
the discos went down.
Yeah. Anyway,
though the Chaos Lord did some work against those guys.
Oh man, your Chaos Lord was epic in that game.
Yeah.
So he chopped through the bikes. Then he chopped through a whole Assault Intercessor squad.
He did solo.
Right. Then he chopped through most of my big 10-minute Intercessor squad that I had as well. Like, he was a beast.
He was a beast, and like that's why he's still in my list. Like, I was like, should I take him? I'm looking at a Lord of Contagion or something like that, but I'm like, nope.
Keep him in.
Nope. Yeah. All weather Chaos Lord. And just dice games, man. The last game, it wasn't great. What else happened in that game for you?
Let's see here. I tried to have an epic combat with one of my Blade Guard veterans against your, like the last surviving member of a Blade Guard veteran squad against your, what is the caster?
No. Oh, the Malignant Plague Caster.
Yeah, the Malignant Plague Caster. And like I go in, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna mess you up, and then like just fluffed every single attack, which was the big sad.
It was big sad because the Plague Caster just turned around and just bonked you to death.
Well, it made the save. Then he smited me and killed me, and then he charged into something else
and died.
Yeah, well, eventually, yes.
Yeah, but that Plague Caster, man, all of my guys were really heroic that time.
They were super heroic, except for the Lord Discordants.
Yeah,
they were.
I think it was funny because, like I said at the start of this year, like my goal for the year is to Death Guard keyword, and like, technically I was like Death Guard keyword that game. But like 999 points of that list was Chaos Space Marines.
And you know what? I think you're stronger for just playing pure Death Guard.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like I was looking back, I'm like, cool, like the Lord Discordants are cool and all.
Yeah.
None of them made it into combat.
No, they did. They just
Or when they did, you judicard them, right? So they hit
so I was
last.
able to use the Judicar to make sure that they hit last, and then the one that you had in the middle of the table, just like
whiffed
so bad, and then he got thunderhammered.
Yeah,
by the intercessor sergeant, just freaking nailed him.
Yeah,
and then the other one was on the flank, and he did good. I think he took out a repulsor, or almost took out a repulsor, like by himself with a shield dome, which is pretty good. But then I fell back with the impulsor, and the Eradicator showed up from strategic reserve, and we're like, "See ya, man."
So yeah, we get to shoot twice. Here's 6 fun Melta shots.
Right.
Those guys did great. Like, you used all of the new units pretty much from the.
I did
the book.
No, except for the captain, except for the characters, the captain and the lieutenant. I didn't use them.
Right. They all did really good things. I was like super impressed with like all of them. Like the Blade Guard veterans were solid.
Oh, man, they're really good. Yeah.
The bikers were really good.
They were cool.
I think I'm excited to see what you do with like impulsors and ATVs and bikers.
Oh yeah,
and just
I can't wait to see.
Yeah. The builds that kind of come out from that one, and hopefully a more toned down Space Marine book.
I cannot wait to see the new chaplain on bike. I'm very excited to use him with my White Scars. So he seems very good.
It's super exciting. You also played socially responsibly.
Yeah. And then I'll get to my hobby stuff after that.
Yeah.
So we're going to go kind of like hobby, games, hobby.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid sandwich.
Yeah, there you go. The hybrid sandwich.
Got one of those for $35 in Vegas.
Oh man, that costs way more than $35, my friend. So we're, I don't know, maybe the word.
Not when you're on a podcast.
Oh, and let that be a lesson to you guys.
Yeah.
Start your own podcast.
Yeah.
So I played a tabletop simulator game. I wanted to try out the new Adeptus Mechanicus because I haven't seen them with Engine War stuff yet. And I don't want to buy like $500 worth of Cerberus Raiders.
Right.
So
as cool as they look.
They look super cool. So I played a Styges 8 list that had just a bunch of new stuff. Like I tried Iron Striders. I had 27 Cerberus Raiders. I had and those guys are the mounted guys with sniper rifles. Mm-hmm. And on like all sniper rifles, right? If they roll a 6 to wound, they'll do a mortal wound as well.
Sure.
So I played against our friend Wallace. He was playing Zinch list, so he had Thousand Sons and Chaos Demons. He had 2 Lords of Change, 3 Horror units, a Demon Prince, a unit of 20 Rubric Marines, and a unit of 10 Scarab Occult.
Did he use that young Rise from the Ground strat?
Yeah. So he started the game, and he got first turn as well. So he started the game with all 20 of the Rubric Marines in the center of the table, and then just kind of buffed them up with Prescience and the Demon Prince and that kind of stuff, and then -1 to hit and also +1 invul save, and shot them twice with veterans, which was solid. I mean, that's 40 shots that hit on 2s mostly and wound on...
my
2s or 3s.
My game with Josh, I forgot the veterans was a thing. I blame.
Oh yeah, that would have been really good. Yeah. Don't forget veterans, John. That's like the best stratagem in the game.
Mementoed it onto my arm.
There you go. Yeah. Good. I'm glad. Finally. So by the way, we only played 2 turns. So he his first turn he rapid fired and killed like almost an entire unit of Cerberus, and then like half strength another one. Because they were further away, they were -1 to hit, and that reduced a lot of his hits from the second squad.
Oh, for sure.
And then on my turn, I think I had pretty bad target priority, and I shot the wrong things at the wrong stuff, and I should have shot more stuff at the unit of rubrics in the middle of the table, and I shot I tried to shoot like my like a couple of my onagers as well as the Ballistari, the Iron Striders at a Lord of Change. So that was my bad. I shouldn't have wasted shots. I think I did like 5 or 6 wounds to that Lord of Change. So I mean, I did work, but not.
You could have done more work to the rubrics,
and that cost me the game actually. So like I did a bunch of wounds to I shot them with some other units, and I think I killed like 5 or 6 with shooting, and then I charged them with 10 Electro Priests, the Fulgurite Electro Priests as well. And then but I rolled like no sixes. Like I had such a bad shooting turn with them and then a bad close combat turn, like back to back. Like when I was just targeting that unit, like I rolled 1 6 to wound with the Fulgurites. So that does D3 mortal wounds. And of course I rolled 1 mortal wound.
Sure,
and
of course, yeah.
And then, so they killed, I think in total, like four Rubric Marines for a full squad of 12, which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yep. So just all in all, like some pretty bad luck on my part. The Cerberus Raiders, all those mortal wounds on sixes, I rolled no sixes. I shot with 15 of them or 16 of them and did no mortal wounds.
If GW was smart, they would load dice in Tabletop Simulator.
There you go.
So you go out and buy all the models afterwards.
They'd like be listening in and they'd flip a switch to turn on, like, or have an algorithm that did that. Yep. So, and then his turn, like the Scarab cult came in and like he fell back and shot with the rubrics. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yes. So that ended poorly for me. I don't think we really kept score. I think he was up by 9 points at the end of turn 1, or his turn 2. So I was like, I mean, we can play this out, but it's not going to be pretty.
Sure. And especially with Tabletop Simulator.
And it was getting late, so it was just easy to stop.
Yeah.
But it was fun to play. I wish I would have gotten to see a little bit more of the Mechanicus's like output because it's crazy good. I still think AdMech is one of the best. Is like if not the best army in the game, like one of the best armies in the game for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's games Danny's played.
Oh, and then hobby. I did do hobby.
You did do hobby. Yes.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I did. Let's see. I painted up 10 death marks.
You did. You painted a bunch of death marks.
Yep. So I've never used those guys before, so I'm excited to try those out. Hopefully, I roll some more sixes to wound on those guys.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, we'll see. And then I also am almost finished with 2 more Triarch Stalkers, just because
I saw that. Yeah. You have some you put that up in your hobby progress this week here
for Whip Wednesday.
You have that wonderful blue speckle.
It's looking spicy.
Blue speckled hen.
That's right.
That's what your Triarch is.
So that's our progress this week.
That's our progress. And next time it'll be back at the start like it's supposed to be. It's got to break out the mold sometimes.
That's right.
You've mastered the art of the Stanley. You've downloaded the ITC Battles app. You've loaded your dice to guarantee your charge. Now perfect your game with Mob Rules measuring accessories. Made of the finest acrylic and carrying the skill of the Danny, the tactics of the Dave, and something positive about John. Get yours now at hammerheadgames.net.